Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the DJ Sessions presents the Virtual Sessions. I'm your host, Darren, and right now I'm sitting in the virtual studios in Seattle, Washington, and coming in all the way from Montreal. Today we have Simply City. Caesar, how's it going today?
I'm very good. You?
I'm great. You know, I've just been doing a lot of traveling as we were discussing a little bit pre-show, and finally feels good to be back home. I was in Arizona. Just got back yesterday. It was 80, 82, 85 degrees and sunny skies and palm trees, and came home to Seattle and it's 35 and overcast.
Lucky you, here we're going into winter, so temperatures are like going to zero right now, and then towards December we are going to get the snow and the minus. So it's gonna be studio time.
Studio time. I like that. Virtual session time. But I want to get back out to the warm weather. I missed that. That was some fun stuff. It's a busy travel schedule coming up as well. But we'll get out there. And who would like to come and visit you in Montreal sometime? I hear a lot about this nightclub called Stereo, and you have a residence there. Tell us a little about your involvement with Stereo in Montreal.
Well, I have a residency with them. It's been steady 10 years already. I was working in another club before, Stereo. That club closed, and in that club I did another 8 years residency. When that club closed, I was called Red Light. I went to Stereo, knocked the door. At that time, I brought a CD to the owner. I give it to him, and then they called me 6 months after to do my first introduction to the club. Like, it was an opening. And it was an opening for Hernan Cattaneo. It was a very funny story. We can get to that after. And then I did the opening, and then it was probably, I don't know, they were super happy with it, and then they start calling me again, and again, and I'm there since 2012.
If you could describe your music in 3 words, what 3 words would that be?
I would say musical, driving, and sexy.
And sexy. How important is the sexy component to that?
Oh, yeah. It's very important. I mean, I'm Latino, right? So we come from that. You know?
And, how did you get involved in DJing and production? Was this something you started? I mean, you've been playing at the residency for 10 years. You had another residency for 8 years before that. Sounds like you've been doing this for a while. What's your origin story? How did you get started in all of this?
So, well, I'm Chilean. I started back in Chile back in the 90s. Back then, we were just a few. I mean, this thing, it was starting around the world in the 90s. So I was always very influenced by music, and I was, like, I think I relate with many stories from many DJs that I've been hearing in interviews. Like, I was the kid that my friends that were playing soccer or basketball or the whatever. Me, I was with the music. So I was the one recording music during the night on the radio station, and then bringing the tapes to the parties. And I was, in the stereo, just playing music for my friends. Like, I want you to listen to this. This is really good. I was trying to convince people, right, to listen what I have for you. So this is how it started, right? Like, it was probably like a game for me. I didn't know what was going to happen with that. And then suddenly, I found myself like putting music on breaks in the school. We had the breaks in the school. I was going putting the music, and then after that, suddenly I started liking a lot of breakdance. I was breakdancing for a while, and then towards that kind of music, I got to listen Kraftwerk. We were then break dancing to Kraftwerk, and then after that, more and more, it became more electronic, and I left the break dancing, and I started scratching, and then after scratching, I started mixing. But all this, it was like a process that I didn't know. Then after that, somebody that it was older than me, it was a DJ, one of the first DJs in the city there. He told me that you should take 2 records of the ones that you have, and mix them together and make them match, and that way you're gonna learn how to mix. So I had this um, off the wall album from Michael Jackson, and I put the Billie Jean twice because I had two copies, and I started just bit matching them, and that's how I started. And then in Chile, it's a country that we have a dictatorship, right? So there was many families from Chile that they were living outside the country, right? So then when the dictatorship finished and became the democracy, there was many families that they were exiliated. They came back to Chile. But these families, when they lived in Chile, they didn't have kids. So they came back with kids that they grew up in Germany, in France, in the United States, in Canada, like many places in the world. So you can see Ricardo Villalobos coming to Chile, Luciano coming to Chile, and other DJs that they didn't get at that level that them. They brought this music. They came with vinyls, and they were already influenced by like European and American stuff. After that, I got engaged with that, and I said, you know what, I want to do this. I want to be like those cool kids, and we all were young. Me, I'm 46. We were very young, and we started doing raves and parties, and then it became what it became everywhere. Right? So that's how it started. Chile.
What was the first country you visited outside of Chile to go play as a DJ?
The first country I visited outside it was New York. That was the first one.
So yeah. Somebody discovered you in Chile, or you said, I want to go to New York?
That was many years after. I got to I went to work in Boston. I was working in Nantucket Island, and then somebody told me you should go and play in New York. So I was when I was living in Nantucket, I was working there for 2 years. I was painting houses. I went to New York to buy records. At that time, it was Satellite Records and other record stores, like only vinyl. I was going to buy records, and then I met these Dominican guys, and then they were doing parties in like on top of the roof of buildings, and they buy me to play there, and I play. So more like, all those kind of experiences, they brought me to want more of this.
Nice. I recently visited New York. Well, about a year ago, I was in New York for the first time, and never really understood how big that city actually is.
Oh, yes.
And it was amazing going there. I went to a club, maybe you've heard of it, called the Brooklyn Mirage. And it was an amazing experience. It kind of ruined it for me. I think I have to go to like Ibiza now to like see a better club, or I have to get up to Space in Montreal.
You come to Stereo.
Or Stereo. Is it Stereo or Stereo? Stereo. Sorry, we used to have a nightclub in our town called Space, so I don't know why I went to Space. Yeah. But
once you come to Stereo, you then after that we can talk and you can tell me, because everybody that comes to Stereo, like every single DJ, like top DJs, like they come to Stereo and they love it just for the music, for the sound system, the way it's built, the energy of the people, the crowd, every single detail that is put into that club. It was like originally it was made by DJs, right? So, and yeah, it's just incredible. I cannot describe it, but once as a DJ, once you play there, it's very hard to try to go back to somewhere else and like say, okay, sounds better or not.
And speaking about traveling, I was looking at your going through your socials, doing some research on you, and I saw that you missed out on ADE this year. Was this going to be your first year going, or have you been before?
I never been before.
Okay.
I don't know why. Maybe I don't know. I cannot explain that. I have so many friends. Like all my friends, they go there, and every time everybody's there, bunch of messages. You're missing this. You should be here. You should be playing here. You're missing this. You're missing that. And but I promised myself, and like I promised myself publicly, I am not missing any other ADA anymore. So next year I'm coming. Actually, I'm planning to buy my tickets like in a few weeks and get everything ready set up to go there.
Yeah, we went for our first time this year, and it was an amazing experience. The city of Amsterdam is beautiful. The level of contacts that you can make. I got to see people in person that I had never met in person.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
we were treated really well there by the ADE staff. We're excited. I got about 40 plus interviews I still got to edit and put up,
Nice.
with some really great people. But I definitely recommend going, and definitely recommend getting your ticket now.
Yeah, everybody's telling me that. I mean, like I used to go. Well, in the beginning of the YMC,
Yeah,
people was telling me that it was like that. It was like networking, and you actually get to work and do connections, and like a lot
yeah,
of PR, and meet like booking agents and like DJs that you never met in person, and just by on internet or whatever. It's like, oh, it's you. I can relate to that. I lived that back in the days on in the conference in Miami, because right now the conference in Miami is not the same anymore. I mean, it's just
yeah,
parties and whatever, but it's not the
yeah.
conference, right?
Yeah, one of the cool things that you get when you sign up as a pro member for ADE, I suggest doing that, is getting the pro badge, is you get access to the ADE registration database. How you can go through that and find all the contacts in there and literally contact people in the database and set up your meetings. And you
Right.
get access to that for a year after the event. I literally just had to message my guy saying, "Hey, we need to go through all the connections I made through the ADE database." My
Absolutely.
assistant, and say, "Hey, make sure we follow up with all these contacts and stay in touch with them," because one of the things we've done with the DJ sessions is we used to focus on DJs and producers. Now we've opened it up to all industry professionals.
Right.
Uh, and now we're interviewing label owners, booking managers, promoters, lighting designers, audio engineers, anyone that does something in the electronic music world, we want to have them on the show. And that was
Awesome.
pretty much the coup de grace of events. And the next one we're looking forward to going to, though, is South by Southwest and IMS in Ibiza. I think
Next
that's,
month.
yeah, IMS. I've never been to Ibiza before, but I'm really excited to go there and hang
Nice.
out. Speaking of watching, the rise of electronic music around the world, how has your experience been seeing the rise of electronic music in the United States or in North America? And how different is that from the European scene? You mentioned earlier that, when the dictatorship left Chile, that a lot of people came back with that European sound back to Chile. And, then it kind of rose and came up. But do you see a difference in the United States or North American electronic music scene than the European music scene?
Um, I think compared with the Europe, I think there's more variety in Europe. You have more options than United States or can in Canada. It's like talking to you in Canadian aspect of things. We don't have much clubs as Europe, right? I would say that there's a lot of festivals going on also in Europe. I mean, Europe is huge in festival during the festival season. But musical wise, I think I wouldn't believe that there's a difference. I mean, like we have amazing producers, amazing DJs on this side of the world too, and the styles of music are like there's no more like I don't know, like the West Coast and the East Coast kind of thing. Like it's more global right now. I mean, you can find amazing house DJs, house DJs, or tech house DJs, or techno DJs, progressive DJs, like all around the world, and the quality it's amazing. So I don't there's no more territorial thing anymore, I think.
Well, and speaking about territories and areas, you recently just have new representation in Latin America. Can you tell our DJ Sessions fans a little bit about that? That sounds really exciting.
Yeah, I'm super excited too. I mean, Argentina, it's how I discover Hernan Cattaneo, for example, like back in the days. Um, I was living Chile and going to Argentina, it was like a completely going to another world. Chile is a small country, right? And Chile was always, because of that um, influence from Europe. It was a lot of tech house and a lot of techno, very German, Swiss kind of thing in Chile. Once I crossed the Cordillera and I went to Buenos Aires, I discovered another world. And then I didn't want to go back. I was like on another kind of music. It was different. It was more like UK-ish kind of thing, more like progressive, more melodies, more. And then I was going to Argentina just for that. Actually, at some point, I was going to Argentina. It was so cheap for Chileans to go to Argentina, take a plane. It was like an hour and something to go take a plane. I was going to eat meat. I was going to party, and I was going to buy clothing and in the outlets. So connection with me in Argentina is very special because of the music, because of the friends that I have there, because of um, sometimes I go to check my statistics, and I see that mostly of the listeners of my music, they come from Argentina. So I contact this agency. It's called Estamos Felices. I got a first approach with them when Hernan invited me to do a Sotheby's showcase in Buenos Aires. We did it at the Bow, one of the biggest clubs in Buenos Aires. Um, so we did a showcase for the label. His label is called Sotheby's. Um, and the organizers, the people that they were taking care of this party was Estamos Felices. So um, I met them, and then after the years of we went to COVID because after that Argentina experience, came back to Canada and COVID happened. So it was like 2 years, no doing nothing, whatever. So now that everything is open, um, I was getting messages and emails from people like, I would like you to come to this country, come to this country, come to this country. Me like when I left Chile, I kind of like missed that part of my roots, like to go somewhere and speak Spanish and like be Latino. I very came to this another part of the world, and then I like I'm in Canada all the time, so I don't get to go too often to Latin America. So I contact them and I told them, listen, I'm getting a lot of calls and emails from people that they wants me to go to Latin America. Would you be interested in take me? And they say right away yes. I was very surprised and I was very very happy when they said that because I know they're the best in the market right now, and they manage other friends and people that they are also in the label. Yeah, now I'm going to. We're fixing some dates. I think it's gonna be like 3 dates in Chile. So I'm going to my country after 12 years now being there. Last time I went to Chile was they brought me to do Sensation White, which is like a big festival there, and actually it's from the Netherlands. Um, but now it's gonna be different. It's like I'm coming back to do 3 dates there, and then after that we're going. There's a date in Patagonia, which is a big party in Patagonia, organized by Oliviero from Sound Exile. The people. So it's going to be in the Cordillera, like very, very in the south of Argentina. After that, probably we're going to get more dates to go to all the cities in Argentina that are not confirmed yet. But I suppose it's going to be Buenos Aires, Cordoba, or Rosario, or Mar del Plata. I don't know, something like that. But yeah, so I guess like my main goal in all this is like to at least to go back once a year and to connect with my roots. Go see my mom also because all my family is there. Me, I'm alone here. I'm not alone. I have my family, but my mom is over there. And then also get to play and for my Latino fans.
And is that your South American tour that we were going to talk about?
It's gonna be the South American tour, yes.
Sounds like it's going to be a fun time doing that traveling. I love traveling now. My heart is all about traveling and getting out there in the world and seeing things. How would any of this existed without you having a relationship with Hernan Cattaneo?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think I think my relationship with him opened many doors, and one of those is this Argentinian tour. 100%, absolutely.
Mhm.
You see, you
How
see
did
that? You see that?
I can kind of see it.
That's him there.
Awesome. And how did you two meet?
um, well, I discovered Hernan Cattaneo going to Argentina on one of those trips that I told you I was going to eat food and party. I went to Buenos Aires, and there was this club called Clubland Pacha in Buenos Aires. So I go to this club and I see this DJ playing, and I asked someone, I mean, who's this DJ? I mean, it blew my mind. I couldn't believe it. And one of the guys told me this is called Hernan Cattaneo. So every time I was going back to Argentina, I was trying to check the schedule of that club and see if he was going to play again. And he was playing with Sasha. He was playing with Didwe. He was playing with um, uh, all the global underground DJs at that time.
I love that whole
Yeah,
series made me into electronic music, by the way.
of
Got me in.
course. And he was like doing stuff with a lot of stuff with Paul Oakenfold, and it was
Mhm.
uh, basically the DJ in Buenos Aires, like the local DJ in Buenos Aires, and then um, me, I was doing my stuff also in Chile at that time. I was playing with for the most um, for the biggest production company in Chile. They were doing big parties too. So when DJs were going to Buenos Aires, they were going also to Chile. And Hernani was coming to Chile also to play. At that time, Hernani was being chosen by Paul Oakenfold. Paul Oakenfold was the number one DJ of the world at that time. Choose him to go and do a tour with him around the world. So then is when Hernan became big. So at that time, he did a date in Chile also. And then I met him. I opened for him, and then I closed for many times, closed and opened for him in Chile. But I never met him really well. Like we never became friends at that time. But then he left Argentina and he did his career, and then uh, he became what it is. I saw him a few times because then after that, I started traveling too, but on my own. I went to many places in Latin America. I went to Mexico. I was working in Mexico for 5 years in a club there. And then I went to play another club in Mexico, and I went to see him. One of the things that it really caught my attention that he never forgot my name. He has a memory that you have no idea. It's like you can ask anybody about him. Hey, Caesar, how are you? And like very friendly, whatever. So then after that, I never saw him again. And then when I came to Stereo and they gave me this opening, it was opening for Hernan.
Okay.
So Hernan comes, I'm opening, it comes to the DJ booth and he tapped me on the back. Hey, Caesar, how are you? And he started screaming to me, Caesar, Caesar. I'm like, okay. And then, I mean, it's been 7 years. I'm opening for him at Stereo. Every time he comes, I open for him. So then, after several years, we became super great friends. So
That's awesome.
that's
That's a very awesome story. And that's how it should be in the world. You make there can be a lot of business contacts that you make, but when you develop a friendship over time, and I've had that happen. And I think sometimes it's just being a reporter or coming in and interviewing somebody for a show. I'm just a number to them, but when they come back to Seattle and I see them in person, like, Darren, DJ sessions, how you doing? And they remember you. It's like you made that impression. You made something stick in their mind, which is just awesome. Um,
yeah,
but
yeah. I think it was. I mean, because of how I met him, and then the relationship we have. Because for him also come to Stereo, it was one of his probably dreams to come to play at Stereo, right? So he's very humble. It's one of the best DJs in this world, and he comes to Stereo, and he loves to come to Stereo because he get to. I mean, I get to open for him. Like I'm also humbled by the just the fact that he loves what I do before he comes and play, right? So that night became something like it's now something regular. So every time he comes to stereo, he comes two, 3 times a year. March, September. I think it comes 2 times. In March, usually I open for him, and then in September he does an all night long. So when he
Nice.
comes, sometimes we go for dinner, we talk, and then yeah, we develop this. For me, it's like I became friend with my all-time idol that I met. I don't know 20 something years ago in Argentina. I discovered him as a DJ, and then along the way, I got to play in one of the best clubs in the world. Became a resident, and then opened for him, and then became friends with him. It's like it's just blew my mind.
Now, in addition to DJing, you also produce.
Yeah.
When did you start doing production? Was that something that started at the same time you started DJing, or was that something that came
Oh
about
no,
later?
no. I when I started as a DJ. At the time, it was just DJ. I start producing when I get to come to. Well, there's a story in between Chile and Canada. So in between Chile and Canada, I moved to Mexico, and in Mexico I was living in Cancun. In Cancun, I was playing in this. It was a lounge bar that I asked the chance to play in this club, and it turned into after 5 years, it turned into the best after hour in the Riviera Maya. So then there, I met some Canadians on vacation. These Canadians um, end up to be the owner of a club and a promoter of the biggest party in Montreal. So they invite me to come to play in Montreal. So when they invite me to play in Montreal, I do a gig in Montreal, and then I fell in love with the city. And then at the end of my stay in Cancun, we had like a huge hurricane that destroyed everything. I lost everything, so I didn't know where to go. Or do I step back and I go back to Chile, or I step in front and I go to Montreal and keep chasing my dreams? So I think at that time, more or less 2000, I will say 2003, is when I discovered Canada and I discovered the club scene, and it was like, okay, now you need to start making music, because this is it. I remember the first time I came to Canada, they brought me to this club. It was called Millennium, and it was Roger Sanchez playing, and Sultan and Tom Deppy was in the backstage. They introduced me all these people, and it's like I'm like where I am. I mean, like I need this. I want this. And then around that date, with the salaries I was getting paid to go to do gigs in Montreal, I went to a store and I started buying my gear, and I started just learning how to do music. And at that time, I wasn't Simplicity. I was Caesar Bass Romero. That was my name. Then after that, I thought of switching because I wanted just to make progressive music, and before that, I was just trying to find my way in music, and so I decided to switch. Then after in 2012, when I became Simplicity.
And would you ever think of ever to stop making music and DJing in form of another art form? Do you have any other side projects or passions that you do that may or would ever take you away from making or playing music?
Not for now. Not for now. I mean, listen. I'm 47 today. I started when I was 13, and I don't see myself doing other thing that is not related with music. Maybe who knows? I mean, like today, if you ask me today, I just want to keep producing music and playing music and traveling and do what I do, and I don't see. You know what? If you ask me, I really love cooking. I love food. Maybe in the future, who knows? Maybe I'll open a restaurant. I don't know.
We're about to launch a series. I'm a huge foodie myself. I love cooking. I love making food. I love going out and eating at restaurants. And we're getting ready to launch our new series. I was actually talking about this when I was out of town with one of my DJs. He's a chef, and the name of the series is going to be called the DJ Sessions Beats and Eats. And
Nice.
I don't want to give too much away on the premise of it because I don't want somebody stealing the idea. But it's something that basically involves food, DJs, and live streaming it to an audience and putting it out there. You know, I'll tell you offline after the interview the concept of it, but it's a really cool concept, and we do this from, you know, it's a really cool concept. I don't want to give away too much of it, but it's on the drawing board. It's going into pre-production. Super excited, you know, to be doing this because I just, you know, I have such a passion for food and such a passion for electronic music, and combining the two together is something I'd love to do.
Yeah, yeah. But like I say, probably food will be something that I will develop. Who knows? I'm the one who cooks for my friends when they come to my house. You know, like I cook here in my house for my family. I love that. I think that making food for I was telling this to somebody else in the trip that I just did. When you make food for someone, in my case, I don't know, in your case, or somebody that cooks also, you're giving a part of yourself and you're giving love when you cook for somebody. And I think it relates the same when I play music. When I share music with someone, it's the same thing. I'm just giving a part of myself and love. That's what I try to transmit when I do this. So, and it's an art. Cooking is an art, and music is an art. So, I guess a painter will do the same, right? A painter will paint, and he was like trying to give a piece of himself and try to transmit something, which is feelings at the end.
Absolutely. You know, I got to actually see one event going back to, you mentioned that you're 47. I'm 48, so we're right around the same age. And I got to see one person, going back to the ADE conversation, one event that I got to go to. It was a conference, it was a meeting of about 300 people in the room, and Carl Cox was there in the room. And apparently Carl Cox is going to reinvent himself once again, as he stated. We won't go into that conversation because it's pretty interesting, but he just turned 60 years old this year in July. Do you see yourself still doing this at 60 years old as well?
I will do it until I cannot more. Like I will do it until I feel that it's not the time anymore. Like I could do it. Yes, until I don't know. Somebody tells me, you know what, you need to stop, or my body tells me that I need to stop, or times change that I maybe, I don't know, I'm not you know, like anymore what I used to be. You know, like time is gonna tell. But for me, I think I have a long way to keep doing things. And to be honest with you, today I think is the best time of my life, musically, and what's happening with me. You know, with my career, it's taking off organically. I'm not rushing anything, and I'm just gonna see where it goes.
Yeah, that's kind of exactly where we're at is in that organic growth stage. We spent the last year building everything up, moving forward on more of an international level. And I was just talking with my counterpart, one of my people that I work with out of the UK this morning, and he's just like, if you look back where you were a year ago and where you're at today and what you're setting up for future forward, the organic growth alone, you know, you can't put a price tag on that. It's really awesome.
Absolutely.
You know, if you could, taking what you know now, taking your 47-year-old self, if you could go back 25 years in music history or go forward 50 years in music future, which one would you pick and why?
I think I will go back just for the fact that I will try to not party too much and to take more. Yeah, because I think I partied too much when I was younger. More conscience of what was happening musically in the moment, and probably that will brought me to somewhere else. In terms of quality of music, I will say that I will go back to that global underground times, 50 times I will going back forward, because for me that was an era that I would just it was always gonna stick in there.
Yeah, it's always interesting because some people like, they don't want to go back because they don't want to relive it, and they want to see what's going to happen with the
Ah,
future of
good.
music. You
The
know,
future of music is also interesting, but it's gonna be very different because right now you have DJ schools. You have a lot of technology, and it's like everything is super easy. Plus the social media stuff, and it's like um, I'm very curious of what's going to happen in the future, right? But I will go back and relive again things that from the past, because it was for me it was very beautiful. I don't doubt that what comes in the future is going to be beautiful as well. But this is gonna be for people that for young generations that to come.
exactly. It's. I always think that you mentioned the Global Underground albums in that series, and my first one I ever bought was the Paul Oakenfold one, and then I got the Sasha and the Digweed and the Tangelia, and and the others, and it's just those were classics. I think that you could still play those songs, those tracks today, and people would
Timeless.
think they just came out today.
Yeah, timeless.
They're timeless. I mean, timeless tracks that were on those compilations. Um, you know, Gonna wrap things up here a little bit. Is there anything else you'd like to let our DJ Sessions fans know before we let you go?
Yes. So November 2025, I have a balance. Um, it's a balance selection that is coming on balance music. It's gonna be a 2 hours and a half mix. Like usually it's like an hour and something, but me in an hour and something I'm not able to tell a story. So I told the people from Balance to let me do a longest one, and they allow me to do 2 hours and a half. So it's gonna be a 2 hours and a half story that I'm gonna try to tell with the music that I love. There's gonna be a lot of music that is not even out yet. There's music that is already out, but I loved it. A lot of friends that I have that they give me their music, a bunch of IDs. I'm gonna put them there. Even Hernani gave me one of his tracks that is gonna come next year. It's gonna be there, and it comes with an interview too. So it's something like I'm gonna be talking about my when I started, my influences and things like that. So it's a very nice one. I was looking forward to be called by Balance for a long time, and they finally called me. So it's a nice accolade there.
That's awesome. I want to have to check that out when it comes out on the balance. That's the
Yeah.
balance
Balance
selection.
that's one, and then what else? Stereo November 19. I'm playing with Guy J. That's gonna be, I think, one of my latest gig of this year at Stereo, because I don't know if I'm playing in December, because then after that I'm going back to South America. So the South American tour, I'm gonna be in Chile. I'm gonna be visiting my homeland. I'm gonna go to Argentina, which is any DJ can tell you best country ever to go and play, because of the crowd, because of the energy that they have. It's like I always compare it to go to a soccer game, Boca Juniors and River. That's the energy in a club. It's like just people going for it, and they don't leave until you play the last strike. And when you play the last strike, they wait for you to clap their hands like this. And it's like it's the ultimate place to go and play. It's Argentina, and for me, I'm very lucky to be able to do it. I mean, we were talking in the beginning, it's like if it wouldn't be for Hernan, probably it wouldn't happen. But I think also it's because everything that I do in my life also is talent, and in this business always is talent and a little bit of luck, and to be at the right place in the right moment. So,
What's the nicest thing that a fan has ever said to you?
ooh, the nicest thing. It wasn't something that told me, but I remember being in a party, and this person came to me, I don't remember, but it was talking to me about the night and the music and how I moved this person with the music and how I felt with the music and start crying. I think that was the things that I remember. Like clearly you can touch somebody's soul when you're doing something and you play music, and it's like you listen music. Music is like it can make you travel to the future, or it can make you travel to the past,
Hmm.
and it can touch your soul and make you leave a memory. So this person, of course, it was very emotional and start crying. I could see the tears. So I think that's I don't remember what exactly told me, but I will say that.
Awesome. Well, where can people find out more information about you? Where they can find out the balance, selection mix, release date, your tour dates. Where's the best place to go for people to
Um,
find that information?
well, I will say my Instagram. It's
Okay.
Simplicity Music right there, and also on Facebook. It's Simplicity also on Facebook. And then on my Instagram, there's a link that you can click, and it will bring you to all my SoundCloud, to Beatport, to all everything related to my music and what's happening. And if somebody wants to book me, the same thing. There's links for the booking agencies, my representative in North America and South America. And yes, I'm very excited. Music is coming too. Another thing that I want to tell you before we leave.
Yeah.
I'm finishing 3 remixes, and then now winter I'm gonna be locked down in here where you're saying this is my studio. I'm gonna be trying to make the next EP that is gonna come hopefully again on Subbeat, because that's mainly that's my house. So I'm gonna try to do another EP with original stuff to go on that label, and that's it. Hopefully I can travel as many places as I can to see the people that wants to hear me live.
Awesome. Caesar, thank you for coming on the DJ sessions. We're definitely going to follow up with you like we
Thanks,
promised to do with everyone that comes on the show. Congratulations on your success. And I look forward to possibly coming up to Montreal soon and meeting you in person. And
definitely, if you want to come to Montreal, I'm your man. You contact me, and I take you wherever you want. You're gonna
that
love the
sounds
city. You're gonna love the vibe, and you're gonna love stereo. I want everybody to see this club and to at least to live it once in your life, because it's absolutely another experience.
well, I saw it's only like a 6 or 7 hour drive from New York.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
not
It's a
that
six hour
far.
drive, and
Um,
it's worth it, because like I'm telling you, it's a very special place to be.
awesome. Again, thank you so much for coming on the DJ sessions today.
Thank
We
you.
look forward to talking with you in the future, and good luck on all your endeavors.
Thank you very much for invite, and we stay in touch.
You're welcome, Caesar.
Ciao.
On that note, don't forget to go to our website, thedjsessions.com. Find us on Meta, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. We're out there. The DJ Sessions. Just type it in, Google, do a search. There's also over 600 news stories published on our site. You can find us on Roku, Amazon Fire, Google Play, and Apple TV. Check us out in the metaverse at our nightclubs in Altspace, and download our mobile app. But you can find all that when you go to our website, thedjsessions.com. That's Caesar, aka Simply City, and I'm Darren, coming to you from the virtual studios in Seattle, while he's over in Montreal for the DJ sessions. And remember, on the DJ sessions, the music never stops.
Bye.